part 1 of 3, The Myth of Black Culture. In this 3-part series about black hair, we're going to discuss black hair care products, weaves and wigs, dreadlocks, cornrows, cultural appropriation, stereotypes, economic genocide, legislation, and societal impact. Black hair is not black culture if we are allowing other races of people to kill us with black hair care products. If we straighten our hair to be accepted, hired, perceived as attractive, it's not an act of our own manifestation as much as it is an assimilation of other people's opinions on what we should look like. Black hair is not black culture if we reject our own natural hair, label our own natural hair as unprofessional or unkempt because the ignorance of other races created that path that many blacks have adopted to ultimately manifest and internalize racism and self-hatred and seek to give our offspring what we have unfortunately come to know as good hair by mixing our genetics with that of people who have different hair texture. What we are witnessing and experiencing is not black culture, but black culture programming. Chemicals in black hair care products, most of which are made in places like Korea, are known to have ties to causing breast cancer, ovarian cancer, asthma, hormonal imbalance, obesity, early puberty, and even birth defects. There's literally just no other way to say it. These products may have some adverse effect on all races of people who come into contact with them, but they are specifically marketed towards black women, and they kill our women and our economy beyond a single stitch of a doubt. Many of these products are filled with chemicals that haven't even been named or listed and are marketed directly by disproportionate measure. It's not just time to go natural. It's time to make your own homemade natural products until our sisters here in the United States have established both manufacturing of these products themselves and supply chain management. Just because you see a black person on the box that you are purchasing doesn't mean that it's really a product that's designed or designated to improve your life. 8 in 10 of the products studied contain parabens and phthalates, which are known endocrine disruptors. Basically, they disturb the body's hormone balance. Now we have to think about the stereotype and the stigma surrounding black women having attitudes. Consider the possibility of these chemicals being introduced in their bodies as one of the potential culprits behind that. Although some of these substances have been previously banned in the United States, many of them have been reversed due to the current presidential administration. And it's quite possible that the current presidential administration has plans to reverse laws in the future banning these chemicals. And this is the part where I have to leave it to you to become active and read the sides of these boxes before you put these chemicals into your body or on your skin. Be aware of what you are doing to yourself and your children and the risks that you are taking. Not only be aware of the chemicals that went into this product, but be aware of the chemicals that aren't listed that are in that product, and whether or not the law permits these substances to be sold without all of the ingredients listed. Now, much of this research is coming from places like the National Cancer Institute. These studies have been linked and the reports have also been linked. When we think of that, there are studies that find that nearly 80% of hair products aimed at black women contain chemicals linked to cancer, infertility, and obesity. They contain hormone disrupting chemicals called parabens. They've been linked to cancer, weight gain, and reduced muscle mass. Up to 78% also contain phthalates, basically used to extend the shelf life of these products. They are associated with breast cancer, ovarian cancer, early menopause, and other issues. Now you ask, why would we be using these products? Well, black women are using these products to meet societal norms, beauty standards, so to speak. And it's killing us both literally and economically. These black hair care products are filled with toxic chemicals linked to disease. Why? Because they're processed in places that don't care about your well-being. Places like China and North Korea. Many of these places have been given benefits due to United States sanctions that have existed since the 1940s that allow these people to come into this country and dominate the supply chain management market when it comes to black hair care products and other goods. Now, according to Linda Loretz, a chief toxicologist at the Personal Care Products Council, she says that the mention of unlabeled chemicals is incredibly misleading, and they are likely to trace levels of ingredients that were not intentionally added. How does an ingredient find its way into a product unintentionally? That doesn't even make sense. Now, a 2016 study shows that black women in the United States have higher concentrations of chemicals like parabens and phthalates in their bodies than women from other ethnicities. 50% of black hair products used by women contained endocrine disruptors, compared with just 7% of those used by white women. Now, these products are things like root stimulators, anti-frizz products, relaxers, and more. After analyzing about 18 of some of the most commonly used hair cosmetic products, they found 66 chemicals with potentially toxic effects. And the majority of these compounds were not mentioned on the labels. It goes without saying what's going on here. These products are being manufactured in other countries to affect you, to cause you to have problems, health concerns, in a country where your health care is being ripped away from you, by the way. So if black hair is black culture, then why is it being owned by Korea and China? Why is it killing us? Why is it doing more damage than good? You know, it's my personal opinion that straightened hair doesn't even look good on 95% of black women. I don't understand this. We've allowed this to continue for too long, and black hair will not become black culture until we own our hair and what we decide to do with it and how it affects us. Culture is defined as the set of shared attitudes, values, goals, and practices that characterizes an institution or organization. Culture is defined as the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. Culture is defined as the customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group. And now the question arises, is it black culture to poison ourselves and our children in ways that we don't understand? Is it black culture to influence any sort of hormonal imbalances in our sons and daughters before they are born? Is it black culture to subject ourselves to cancer or asthma or preterm births on purpose? Is it black culture to allow other races of people to create hazardous formulas for us to buy and consume and not even list what ingredients are in them? I'm sorry to inform you, but you needed to hear this. It is culture programming. We didn't impose chemically straightened hair on ourselves. It was imposed on us. We didn't seek to introduce gender bender chemicals to our unborn children. We let somebody introduce them to it without us even knowing. Even some of our hairstyles can't be considered true black culture because some of these styles wouldn't exist without the chemicals changing the texture of our hair to create the style to begin with. These studies have been linked. I'd like to end by debunking a myth that straightened hair is cultural appropriation. Assimilation to somebody else's opinion may be so, but cultural appropriation, absolutely not. Whose culture would we be appropriating by straight hair if almost every other ethnicity and race on this planet besides us has straight hair? Whose culture would we be appropriating? There's never been a white woman in the history of the United States to walk into a job interview and wonder if her hair was too African textured for her to get the job. That was imposed upon us. That was forced upon us. When it is forced, it has not been appropriated. And let's not discount the fact that Aboriginals are people with black skin and straight hair. We have to educate ourselves on black culture and the myth of black culture at the exact same time. If you want to find different ways for you to start taking advantage of your own abilities, if you want to find different ways to take care of your natural hair in a natural way, there are a bunch of different YouTubers that have all the information that you can need to get started and moving in the right direction. We also want to develop equity crowdfunds for local people who want to get involved with the solution to stop the economic genocide and the negativity and the stereotypes. So be sure to check out some of those YouTubers and see what information and content they have to offer. In the next part of this series, we're going to talk about the economic genocide caused by black hair care products, weaves and wigs, and not being able to get a job because of your African textured hair, and the stereotypes that have been placed on black men. Stay tuned. Keep in mind, this is an open debate. Any and all information that you could bring to the table would be greatly appreciated, and I'd be happy to engage with you.